Nike against Under Armour, Adidas versus Puma. With the best shoe design, the best athletes, and the best supply chain, the sportswear sector is unlike any other market. The market share competition has been called sneaker wars numerous times, although the conflict is still in the early stages. There is no debate over who is first. Nike's market valuation is greater than that of Adidas, Puma, and Under Armour put together. The Oregon-based firm has been at the forefront of its industry since the 1990s, and that's not a recent phenomenon. How did Nike manage to overtake Puma and Adidas, the two largest sportswear manufacturers in Germany? How did they remain successful for so long, and what are their plans for the future? We delve into the tactics employed by the most dominant sports brand in the planet. German companies like Adidas and Puma dominated the sportswear industry for a long time because they had access to more capital and more skilled workers. And it didn't seem like things were going to change anytime soon, but Phil Knight had a plan. After finishing his undergraduate degree at Oregon, he decided to pursue an MBA at Stanford. Being an avid runner, he naturally penned a dissertation with the intriguing topic, "Can Japanese sports shoes cause German sports shoes the same way Japanese cameras cause German cameras?" His goal was to flood the US market with high-quality, low-priced running shoes made in Japan, where labor is more affordable. Indeed, he did that very thing. After finishing college, he went to Japan to talk to the founders of Adidas at Onitsuka Tiger. We were blown away by the value of their running shoes. When the first sneakers arrived, Knight had already secured the rights to distribute them in the western United States and had ordered his first samples. He waited for over a year before sending 2 pairs to his former track coach, Bill Bowerman, at the University of Oregon, in the hopes of making the sale and getting a powerful endorsement. To everyone's delight, Bowerman not only placed the shoe purchase to Knight, but also proposed partnering together and offering input on future product designs. Handshakes sealed the deal between the two men, and out of Blue Ribbon Sports would emerge the corporation that would become known as Nike. Several key elements explaining Nike's success are already hinted at in the company's origin narrative. To begin, Phil Knight's keen analytical talents were on display when he saw the value in moving production to Japan. Maybe even more crucial were the founders of Nike's shared interest in running and other sports. Former runners made up a large portion of the original workforce. They frequently befriended athletes on the spot where they bought their first pair of running shoes. Steve Prefontaine, a local hero in Oregon at the time, was the first track athlete to be sponsored by Nike. People quickly noticed that the quickest runners were no longer sporting the ubiquitous Adidas brand. Although Adidas was cozying up to authorities and betting on organizations like FIFA and the IOC, Knight and his colleagues had discovered the ideal marketing approach for their new local brand. Nike cared more about the success of its athletes than it did of any one organization. Their hands-on testing also demonstrated their commitment to the concept of making a shoe brand by athletes for athletes. Bowerman was extremely competitive, but he also showed a passion with improving his athletes' footwear. In the early 1970s, Bowerman was looking for a running shoe that would be good for many surfaces, since the field he had worked at for years, Oregon's Hayward Field, was changing from a crushed cinder track to an artificial surface. His inspiration struck as he watched his wife prepare waffles in the morning. Once his wife's waffle maker broke, he poured some plastic into the grooves, which worked out to be a nearly ideal mold for a pair of running shoes. Nike's commitment to innovation and challenging convention in sports gear was established by Bauman's waffle trainer. It was the first of many groundbreaking advancements that enabled Nike leapfrog its competition and crush groundbreaking products like air soles. When Nike released the Air Force One, the shoe business was forever changed. The Nike Vapor Fly running shoe is the most recent example to make news for its claimed ability to increase speed while running. In 2019, Eliud Kipchoge used it to become the first person to finish a marathon in under 2 hours. This incident, together with Nike's recent dominance in the world's most prestigious running competitions, prompted the World Athletics Association to issue new guidelines for the design and construction of running shoes. Shoe bans because of their positive effect on performance. That's a lot like how Michael Jordan's Air Force One got banned from the NBA. Nike's advertising campaign was flawless. There is a long list of Nike athletes, including Eliud Kipchoge and Michael Jordan. What Prefontaine started has become the most valuable sports portfolio in the world. Carl Lewis, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Ronald Ura, Federer, LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, and the other Ronaldo are all on the list of famous people. Nike's roster of athlete clubs and federations is the brand's beating heart, making it one of the most powerful in the world. Many people have complimented their advertising campaign. Several of their commercials, including the "Just Do It" motto and the now iconic swoosh emblem, have been honored with Emmy Awards. Yet the inner workings of the machine that implements the marketing plan are just as fascinating. Nike operates as a matrix company. It implies workers have several bosses to whom they answer. If you work in footwear sales, for instance, you may report to both the director of sales and the director of footwear. The departments in a matrix structure are able to collaborate closely with one another and keep the lines of communication open to find solutions. Managers are able to meet client demands and advance Nike's business objectives thanks to the constant flow of information between departments. Formerly, Nike's matrix was set up to create, promote, and sell products in accordance with category. This facilitated their manufacturing and supply chain efficiency, but did not meet their requirements. As a result, Nike switched to a strategy they termed Category Oven in 2008, which reorganized the company around sports rather than goods. Nike caters to a wide variety of markets with distinct product lines, such as worldwide football, basketball, and training. Sales have increased by over 70% to over $30 billion, proving the wisdom of the realignment. Perhaps you have seen the category's influence firsthand at a store close to you. As Nike was the market leader, its retail partners adapted their shop designs to include dedicated Nike sections. Customers may find shoes, clothes, and gear designed specifically for their sport in dedicated areas centered on Nike's sport categories. As a result, consumers who participate in many sports found themselves able to choose from a wider variety of items. People no longer have a single pair of shoes they use for both jogging and weightlifting, but instead invest in several sets of footwear for each activity. Using the category often approach, Nike has been able to enhance its budgeting and reporting. Now that Nike can analyze its business performance by sport, the company can better allocate resources to revive its weaker divisions. If they notice a drop in sales of football boots, for instance, they could opt to sign a football team in an effort to boost those numbers. It's a great illustration of how Nike transforms sports by using their position as an industry leader. It illustrates how the corporation has maintained and grown its advantage over Adidas and Puma in recent years, from a concentration on product silos to sports categories. But where does Nike go from here? After the category offense in 2000, their long-term plans might be more intriguing than their achievements to thus far. Nike's upper management has opted to switch tactics once again. With the intention of providing more individualized service to more customers, they introduced consumer direct offerings in 2017. Sounds sophisticated, but it really means they prefer selling directly to consumers through their website rather than wholesalers like Foot Locker. By cutting out the retailer and dealing directly with customers, Nike is able to charge full retail prices. It means their profit margin on each pair of shoes sold is increasing. Most strategic choices come down to the margin, even though this isn't always immediately apparent. Let's examine another core component of Nike's most recent plan to see what I mean. Intense concentration on. Show them what kind of nuts you are if they insist on calling you that. Some may dismiss Nike's emphasis on women's sports as social greenwashing, but the company is dead serious about its mission. As you examine their matrix, you will see that for yourself. The new CEO of Nike has announced a simplification of the company's consumer division into men's, women's, and children's categories. In addition to reorganizing the company's upper echelons, this implies Nike will cater to the specific requirements of its customers in each of these markets. Nike's efforts to promote gender parity and women's rights aren't just excellent PR for the company. The market for women's athletic clothing is booming and offers higher profit margins. Nike's drive into consumer-to-consumer internet sales mirrors its concentration on women as a means to increase profits. Here are two technological advances from the future that seem appropriate given the topic at hand. Only lately, Nike created the Matrix. Have you ever wondered why NBA players use folding chairs? The goal of the microclimate chair is to alter this. Just sitting in the chair, as opposed to, say, jumping into an ice bath, might provide instantaneous heating or cooling therapy for players. It's also keeping track of the player's recuperation period so that he or she may be reintroduced to action at the optimal moment. This specially modified Boeing 787 is designed to get the most out of sportsmen by making their lives easier. It's crucial to have a pleasant journey. In order to facilitate rest, exercise, sleep, and post-game analysis, the plane was partitioned into various sections. Although it's highly doubtful that Nike would start selling airplanes anytime soon, the company's desire to innovate is evident, and it might be an indication that they are planning to increase the variety of products they provide in the future. At its core, Nike is committed to the same innovative practices and flexible business structure that have propelled its global athlete roster to the top. If you like the video, please press the bell symbol and subscribe to our channel Think Insider.